The Irrational Confidence Podcast. Wow, Rutgers is 4-0, 1-0 in the Big Ten. They're traveling to Lincoln, Nebraska. We're going down on the farms down there in the great state of Nebraska here, ladies and gentlemen. At time of record, Nebraska is only a 7-point favorite in this game. I'm kind of shocked, and I think that this is a shocking piece that a lot of us are going to say. Over-under is only 41.5. I kind of like the over in this game for a second. Fresh. Dylan Rhule, 1,200 yards on the year. But you take a look at what they're doing in the state of New York, New Jersey, Rutgers. I don't know, Fresh. What you got for Rutgers versus Nebraska?
I mean, Greg Schiano, I might be one of the most underrated coaches in football, period. Look, if you know anything about college football, there's tons of talent in Pennsylvania, the DC metro area, and New Jersey.
Yes.
And you can recruit from that little hotbed. You hear there's teams that are like Ohio State, Michigan, Wisconsin's done it, Penn State's done it. Georgia's even gone to New Jersey. Alabama's gone into New Jersey and gotten players. If Rutgers and what Greg can do, keep kids home who can play solid football, be disciplined, be tough, they can be successful. And you've seen over the years, he's gotten it done this year. He's got the guys playing. You saw it kind of actually last year, you saw it coming, especially when they hosted Ohio State and they gave them all they could handle in that ball game late in November. It's a disciplined football team. It's a bunch of guys who've had chip on their shoulders who will, overachieve and will fight and will scrap the entire 60 minutes. Kyle Mlanega, the running back, absolute stud. I still have worries about the quarterback situation. Colin Midas, I still can't butcher his name. I butchered it when he's at Minnesota. I'm going to butcher it now he's at Rutgers. The way he holds the football, he looks a little bit robotic, but you know what? He won. He has to manage the game for him, make the smart throws, don't turn it over. He did that on Friday night versus the Huskies of Washington and just got just enough to get it done and let the defense do their thing. If you have a game managing quarterback who understands his purpose and can find ways, I have to convert, make a couple throws in the ball game, keep the offense on schedule, you're going to be just fine. Defensively, what Greg has that defense flying around, they're going to be ready to play. They shut down Will Rogers and that Washington offense pretty effectively almost all night. Still, the offense is not there. They actually should have lost the ball game if it wasn't for that freshman who ran on the field, getting the illegal substitution right there and kind of flipped the script toward the end. But you know what? Sometimes when your record's good enough, you have to have a little luck in there to help keep that going. And I think that Rutgers got that luck last week. The other side, Matt Rhule, Nebraska. You guys look great. You beat the junk out of Colorado, and then you laid a clunker right after that. And I had my doubts when you had to play Purdue. I did not know what team we were going to see. We were going to see the team that was up and coming, playing discipline, scoring points, playing with energy, or the team that just took one on the chin after they had that big win over Colorado. And they went down to West Lafayette offensively and defensively and steamrolled the Boilermakers and actually got Graham Harrell fired from the Purdue Boilermaker as the offensive coordinator. So maybe Matt Rhule's got the team focused. I still want to see more from the offense from the Cornhuskers. You mentioned Rhule's passing stats. I want to see more productive running game, a little more balance. I want to see them score consistently. So how can they take last week's success over Purdue and flip against the better defense in Rutgers and find a way to execute? Because the schedule's only going to get more difficult for them. They have a game with Ohio State coming up in a couple of weeks. How do they build off this? Can they get two big wins in a row? Because they won versus Colorado, they lost, and they won again versus Purdue. Can they stack another win in conference play and get them closer to a bowl game? Because the goal coming in for Nebraska this year was getting back to a bowl game. You cannot get to a bowl game if you stumble at home versus Rutgers. No disrespect to Rutgers. They're 4-0. They're great. But your schedule gets difficult. You've got to find ways to stack wins now so you can keep tacking on the wins and keep going, One win today is better than, anything else, better than a loss. So you have to show me that you're progressing as a serious football program, and you have to show the fans that you're actually back. They saw stuff under Scott Frost. They had all the pomp and circumstance. Oh, we're going to be back. We have a former alum, former Big Ten quarterback who's going to guide us where we want to go. And it flamed. Matt Rhule, you've got to keep stacking wins. Rhayola, you've got to stack wins. Defensively, the Black Shirts got to show up and shut down. You're not going to get an elite quarterback. You've got to find ways to limit the running game and force him to beat you in that pass game. Use the crowd, let them feast off of that, and build the momentum. as much as I like the Rutgers story, I think it comes to an end this week. I just don't think they have offensive firepower to maintain. I think Nebraska being at home is going to be huge for them. If this game was in Piscataway, I would actually might like the Rutgers opportunity there because the fans, the long trip across the country, but here you are. You're going out to the Cornland. You're going out to Lincoln, Nebraska, a rowdy fan base. We've already talked about one of the best environments in college football.
True.
The team that sort of feel momentum, I think they just get just enough. The 7 is interesting.
Right.
I'm actually going to take Nebraska to cover the 7, maybe like a 27-20 or a 24-17 kind of game. The under, that 41, I think that'll be right in that general area.
Right.
A 41 to 43 point game,
Right.
Depending on how the ball bounces. But I think Nebraska has a chance to really stack back-to-back wins, prepare, and start getting comfortable learning how to win football games. And I think that's what that program needs, learning how to win football games. You should be winning the ball games anyway. So Nebraska gets it to win, but Rutgers is going to fight for the full 60 and make it a brawl.
Fresh, I'd be staying the heck away from this game.
Betting, yes.
Yes, for gambling's sake, I would be taking. I would not touch this game with 10-foot pole. Imagine if you're an AP voter this past Sunday, and you're scrambling because you're waking up on Sunday and you're trying to scoreboard watch because that's what most AP voters do, and you're filling out your AP ballot and you say, all right, we saw what Illinois has done. Illinois looked real good. They have that win at Nebraska and then lose a tight game at Happy Valley. And then you take a look at Indiana. Indiana's making an appearance. And Fresh, just like Meatloaf said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. You get to Rutgers and you go, I just can't bring myself to put Indiana, Illinois, and Rutgers into the top 25, even though Rutgers probably deserves to be in the top 25.
If it was a basketball top 25, all 3 are in.
No,
in
easy.
Not football.
Easy. Rutgers they're such an intriguing team because of how they've done this stuff, running the football. Kyle Magani has been absolutely a stud running back for them. He's going to continue to tote the rock. It's going to be a question of whether or not Rutgers can throw the football. Again, I brought up Raiola's passing attack, and here's the difference. The difference, again, we brought this up a couple weeks ago when we previewed Nebraska versus Illinois. The difference for Nebraska this season, yes, the offense is a whole heck of a lot better. It's been the return of the black shirt defense. 16 sacks on the year. This group is getting after the quarterback. They're averaging almost 3.5 sacks a game. And then you take a look, it's because they're getting that level of pressure. They first forced 5 interceptions. They've recovered 3 fumbles. This defense is phenomenal for Nebraska. That's going to be the difference maker. I think if this was kind of like just an offensive game where defense was optional, kind of like that old Big 12 style type of game, this would be a back and forth. I actually think Rutgers would be a little bit better situated in this, but because Nebraska has made the changes on the defensive side of the football, I like Nebraska in this football game. I think they're going to completely shut down. I don't know if you can completely shut down Rutgers' run game, but I think you'll limit the run game where you can key off on the pass, get after the quarterback, force the turnovers. I'm same with you, Fresh. I see this right at that 7 mark. Right there at 7. And again, I had it written down 27-20 as well. I also said, okay, maybe you get a 21-28 type of game, somewhere in that realm. I don't love this line in either place. So I, again, stay away from it. But yeah, I got the same as you, Fresh. Nebraska winning this football game.
Well, I think we all, the world, the country, college football fans need Nebraska to win this game. College football is better when Miami, Nebraska, USC, Notre Dame, Michigan, Alabama, Texas, Georgia, Ohio State, and Penn State are competitive, are back. It just adds, I think everyone loves to hate them or love them. And there's no in between. You either hate them or you love them. But if they're being successful, that just generates the excitement, kind of brings back some old nostalgia. And if Nebraska wins, we kind of start getting that feel again. If they lose, then we're like, all right, Matt Rhule, whatever, move on to year 4.